Alrighty, guys, welcome back. This is episode 5 of the Conchs Podcast. I have Captain JC here, and of course, Captain Travis, all of the Conchs crew. You know, we had a pretty good week here coming up here. We want to talk about a few things, just to touch base on what our giveaway is this week. We do have the Jonny Jigs that we'll be going over some techniques a little bit later here in the show, and we'll be giving away these at the end to a winner. Well, of course, it's one of our subscribers. And the way to win is you have to be one of our Instagram subscribers, and then we choose one at random every week. So there's a lot of good stuff to win. And last week, we gave away the Gills gear. So, those jackets are phenomenal. But anyhow, I do want to touch base on what we have coming up here. It is the Black Friday sale, both through our charters and also at our tackle shop. So I know we have a minimum store-wide 15% going on there, along with other special items. Of course, there are some exclusions, through some companies, but pretty much everything is good to go. We're selling chum at $40 a case. When you buy either a 5 or 10 case chum card, it'll either be 40 or 45 depending on what level chum card you get. And then for our charters, for $18.50, you're going to get 2 3/4 days fishing on one of our 30-footers. And so it's a great deal. It's like over 30% in savings. It's actually like an $850 in savings. So, it's something to check into if you're looking to come down and have a good vacation and spend it here with us, and you want to try and budget a little bit. $850 can almost pay for your place to stay, so it's definitely a good deal to jump on. But anyhow, these guys have been getting out here fishing. I know there's been some groupers and muttons. And so, JC, if you want to tell us about what you and your brother and the rest of the team's been catching, go ahead.
Yeah, man. So the deep reef this time of year is normally anywhere from 50 to 75, 90 feet of water. And you catch the big flag yellowtails doing that, chumming heavy, throw your oats. And then you always got to drop down a bottom rod. And when you're doing that, you're targeting your mutton snappers, your groupers, and other odds and ends like that. But the mutton snappers have been good on the deeper reefs and the black groupers as well.
And that's where, you can use some of these jigs sometimes to get those.
These Jonny Jigs, these smaller ones right here. I love for the red groupers and black groupers and the muttons. They all love it. Anything moving, it looks like a distressed bait, and they love to hop on that Jonny Jig.
Let's touch base a little bit on the live bait situation. I know you're a live bait expert. You go out there and you put in the time. You're one of the few in the fleet here that goes out there and puts in the time, but tell us what you do with that, like with the goggle eyes.
So the goggle eyes is a great all-around bait. You can put it on the bottom and catch black groupers, mutton snappers. They all love it. And you can also throw it on a flat line or put it out on your kite up top, and you can catch anything from sailfish, kingfish, wahoo, tuna, mahi, everything will eat it on the top, and then you can drop it down to the bottom and catch everything from the groupers, muttons, African pompanos. Anything big is going to eat that nice goggle eye.
And not just alive, dead too.
Dead too. You butterfly that thing and get it down there. It's got that scent, and they just love it.
Now, what's your typical rig for a mutton snapper? So let's let these guys know, this is all part of our podcast, is to give you guys some, tips and tricks like that we do. So, what's a typical mutton rig for us?
So a lot of times when we're on the deeper reefs, you don't like to have such a long leader that everybody likes to use. So on the deeper reefs, a lot of times I'll use a 1/2 ounce or a 1 ounce jig head, and I'll use that. And just to get it down, it'll sink a little slower than you would using a big 8-ounce sinker. Or I should change that, shouldn't I?
No, you're good. I know you're talking about like on the reef, use the big jig head so it kind of gets down there. For the groupers and muttons.
Them groupers, it'll get down there a little slower and use that bait.
Yeah, because we get a lot of blacks on the reef, and that's a good way. And muttons, So what he's talking about is using like a 40-pound leader. We use a lot of lighter leader here, and then when you're on that deep reef, you can put the pinfish, either hook them through the top of the head, or underneath the jaw and out through the top, flip them out, and like let it go down. Sometimes we'll even use our Tigress outriggers, flip it out there, put it out, because a lot of times those blacks and muttons will actually come up on the reef. But I think what I was more talking about was more like the wreck fishing on the mutton leaders and stuff like that, using those goggle eyes, either live or dead.
Yeah. So on the wreck fishing, I'll start with my main line. I'll do a sliding swivel, and then I'll tie a swivel to my main line. But to my sliding swivel, I have like this much leader, tie my 8 to 12 ounce lead to that, and then to my main swivel that's connected to my main line, I'll put 20 to 40 feet of line on there, a 30 to 40 pound leader, depending on how they're biting. But you put your 7 to 8 BKK on there, and then muttons love them goggle eyes. You drop down there live or dead, and
yeah, that's like that BKK Mutu light hook. It works great on the mutton snappers, gets like right in the corner of the mouth, which is great, or even their circle hook. Because when you are using that lighter leader, you want that really, you don't want them to eat it down deep. You want that hook to go in the corner of their mouth, to prevent chafing, stuff like that. And then what JC's talking about, like that sliding sinker, it's more like it acts as like more like a three-way swivel, but when you hang in the lead off of it, down here a lot of times, there's a couple of good reasons. So when you're putting up the rig, you can just take the weight off easy. But a lot of times we have these kingfish down here. And so when you do the normal Carolina rig with the same thing, you'll be catching a fish. Next thing you know, the kingfish comes by and eats that weight, and then, it breaks you off. So if the kingfish does eat the weight, you're not going to lose the fish. You may lose the weight, but you still have the fish, which I think is more the important part when you got a 15 or 18 pound mutton on there. So, it's a little bit of mutton fishing tactics there. I know, Travis, you've been catching some muttons here too and hitting the flats.
Yeah, that's been, a great way to do it. Like JC said, everybody's kind of got their own little way to rig up the deeper wreck fishing for the muttons and groupers, or the deeper parts of the reef as well. And a lot of times it's, if you just tie that 30 or 40 pound leader on, you put a 1 or 2 ounce, sinker with one of the little orange beads and a 4 or 5 one of those BKK circle hooks. Those work pretty good. And you just try different stuff, depending on, like Jack was saying. If you got more current, you probably want to use a little bit more weight. If you got less current, less weight. And those goggle eyes are great for that. Live pinfish is great. Ballyhoo is great too. If you're having trouble getting live bait, dead ballyhoo, you can throw that on there. And this time of year, that's what's cool about the reef is, even, you never know what's going to come up. And black grouper, like JC was saying, and big muttons and yellow jacks, all type of stuff, big yellowtails. So been doing that. The flat's been pretty good still. We've been getting out there doing that for the bonefish as well. With the shrimp has been good. And also the cobia. I know you were out there in the bay for a little bit. JC was on them. So that was pretty cool. If you want to tell us about some of them.
Yeah, cobia is showing up.
Cobias are starting to show up. Normally this time of year, this first cold front finally came through and pushed some cobias in real nice and hit any of those nice wrecks out there, anywhere from 15 to 40 feet of water. And you pull up, and normally you can fish them on really any tide, but you can, like, if you like sight fishing those cobias, I do, that slack tide fishery is an awesome fishery for them cobias. You see them pop up to the surface. You can see 10 to 50 to 100 of them, and you're like, holy crap. And you just throw your jig, live bait, whatever you got.
Yeah, what's cool is, a lot of times you want to fish that slack tide for the cobias, like what JC's talking about. And on our Furuno GPS units, we actually have the tide right there on it to where we're at. So as you travel east and west, it's going to be changing nonstop. So having that set up there is it gives you the heads up on really like when those cobias are going to pop up, and then, and actually when you're out in the Gulf there too, talking about the ballyhoo, Travis talking about there, that is one of the best baits, and we use like the ballyhoops. The ballyhoops are great. It's a collapsible net, and stow's easy but very effective. So when you got the chum slick going, you got the ballyhoo out there, you just slowly feed back that ballyhoo and then just pull it in right behind the ballyhoo, and then it scoops them up. You're able to put it in your live well. So, the cobias, live ballyhoo is a good cobia bait. And of course, like what Travis talking about, the mutton snappers, the ballyhoo. So you'll find those on the reef and on the wrecks out back. So the ballyhoo definitely works for me. That's a good product there, like that we use all the time. You'll find them on our boats. So, and then what else you got out there in the Gulf? I mean, you find any Goliaths or anything?
Them big Goliath groupers are out there always. The sharks are thicker than ever, and they're out there. It's fun, though.
Sharks.
And my gosh, you go out there, and it's cool, though. You see the sharks come up to the boat, but sure as crap, there's 40 cobias following it. So then you take your opportunity to take your shots at those, and you get some of your cobias 8. You catch some, you lose some, but win-lose situation. But hey, it's fun, and use your live pinfish out there, live pinfish, live pilchards. You chum them up, throw a few scoops out there, get them fired up. You know what I mean? It's cool to see those fish fired up behind the boat, and those cobias will come up in packs. Sometimes you won't see just one. A lot of times you're gonna see that 10 to 15 of them come up to your boat at once, and you kind of get flustered, but. Yeah, whatever you want, throw it out there, and 9 times out of 10 they're gonna eat it.
Yeah. Now, what do you think? This is kind of, I guess everyone has their different opinion. When those sharks do come up, you hook a big cobia and you know it's a big one, it's a keeper. Some people say you actually flip the bail and let him swim. Some people say you just try to fight him and get him in the boat. So I don't know if you have a preference.
Some people are stronger than the cobia, and some people aren't. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can beat the shark, and a lot of times you can't. It's nature of the beast, that shark's going to win a lot of the times. It's crazy. But like he said, you can't open the bail, let that fish run away from him. If you see the shark almost getting to it, open the bail, let him run away, you get free. But a lot of times that shark's already so fast honed in on it, I think that he's going to eat it. He's been on it for that long, and he's right there on it. And I think he's going to get it. But a lot of times you can save it. You can. I've seen it happen, but...
Kind of like
tarpon. Same deal. Those sharks are on those tarpon like crazy. Yeah. That's a crazy topic, dude.
Yeah.
Tarpon.
Well, that's more springtime, stuff like that. But the cobias are coming in now. And I just want to talk a little bit about our boats, because we all have towers, even though, Travis is in a 26-footer. He still has a tower. JC's in a 34. He has got a tower. I'm in the 39. We have a tower. So getting up in there, I'm sure Travis got some experience that he could talk about seeing those cobias up there, like when you're pulling up on the wrecks. How about that? And then, nobody casting to them.
That's pretty cool. I mean, when you pull up on the wrecks, I always try to get up there because you never know what's going to pop up. It could be permit. It could be big schools of permit in there. Those cobia could be on the surface, especially like JC was saying at slack tide. They come up and they'll just be cruising along. But what's a lot of fun is if you get those big artificial lures, if you get those flare hawks. We have multiple different type of topwater big lures at the shop, and that's actually a lot of fun. Typically, when you throw that big lure in that big school and you're working it, normally the biggest one hits it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they'll turn on it and hit it, and that's a lot of fun. The pinfish is great though too. It's a real hardy bait. They always hit those. Squid is good too. I mean, cobia are cool fish. They're big, strong fighters, but they're not the smartest fish. So, I mean, they're not too picky.
Yeah, they're not picky at all. They'll eat just about anything. And like you're talking about the permit out there, this time of year when the weather cools down, or even in the summertime, but now especially those permit will get stacked up out there in the Gulf wrecks.
Yeah.
And you always want to make sure on the further ones, but you always want to make sure you got the crabs with you. Throw the crabs out there for the permit. That's an awesome fishery out there in the Gulf.
And the cobias eat them too. They're known as crab eaters.
Yeah.
So, and what the nice thing is about using the crabs is you kind of deter a lot of the other fish. Goliath groupers will eat them, so make sure you want to keep it more, like mid-water column and up by using a little lighter jig or even just a bare hook, works well. But, always bring the crabs and that'll help you out there in the Gulf, But, so it's more like have a lot of different bait selection. We use the OMR squid. I know we get a lot of big cobias on that squid on just a jig head and flip it out there and just keep feeding it. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, the big cobia picks it
there
up.
They are.
It's been on some of our TV shows, actually. They hit the lightest line, but we're using, the big OMR squid on there. And it does the trick. Cobias love it.
They love it.
That red box squid.
Red box squid.
It's got the flavor.
Yeah. Like that flavor.
That's it. So, and of course these jigs, you can always get cobias on those and stuff like that too. Just create some action. You may get an Almaco jack on there, but then a cobia follows it up, So always have a bait ready and be prepared, and have, some good casting poppers, works good. So if that school pops up way away, you can give it a good launch and coax them right into you, and then have your crew prepared, and ideally you want everybody to be hooked up at once, to where you got the chaos going on, and that's a lot of fun.
It's always nice having that.
Always good eating too. So
yeah,
hit them with the bubba.
That's it, right?
That's it.
Cobia steaks are always nice.
Yeah, those are good. We just ate some of that yesterday actually with Captain Cam. He had some nice ones. He made up some cobia ceviche. So you ever get a chance to do that? That was pretty good.
Right on. Well, we'll be giving this away at the end of the show. We want to thank you guys for watching. If you guys get any questions, go ahead and DM any one of us. We're easy to find on Instagram. Just send us a message, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Sounds good, guys. Let's do it. And don't forget, if you can, like and share the message with everybody on Instagram and subscribe, and we'll get you guys set up. Have a good one.
Tight lines.